Welcome back to the NITE Economics YouTube channel, and tonight we're going to be looking at the price of gold. Is the breakout real, and can we expect a blow off top to finish the year strong, or is this just another bull trap? Again, if you're liking the content, please subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and without any further ado, let's get into tonight's video. So we're going to be looking here at the weekly chart of gold. As you can see, the gold has rallied significantly from the low that was created on, or that was had on June 29th. So June 29th, essentially, end of June, we had this low that was created, and it was the low of, what is this low? About 3,900 bucks, give or take, 3,900 bucks. And since that low was created, or since that low was set, we have rallied. Now gold, not me. I'm a person. I can't rally, but gold has rallied all the way to 4,697 US dollars, or 19%. And right now it's retraced a tiny bit. It's sitting at around 4,621, so 17% from the bottom. As you know, if you've been following the price of gold, it rallied to an all-time high of 5,575, give or take. I don't think I have it exactly on there. I think the actual, it's 5,500, just call it 5,600, and it dropped about almost 30%, and since then it has retraced about 20%. So it's about, how much is it? How far away is it from the high right now? About 17% away from the high. So does this rally have legs? Well, for me, I like to take these things one step at a time. And for me, until gold does not recover a weekly candle, so has a closure above this previous high that was set in early April of $4,890, I'm going to assume that this is going to be just a bull trap, a fake out, and ultimately head back down. However, if gold is to recover this position, or this price point, take out this high, sweep it, and start closing above it, then I'm going to think that the gold is not only going to get back to its previous all-time high, but it's going to go higher from here. Let's see if we could look at, and I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard to really say here from the RSI. It's not really telling us something very specific. We could see that the BBWP is starting to come back up. It came down to like about, what is that, 74 percentile, and now it's back up to 80 and climbing. So volatility is starting to expand yet again. Let's take a look at the 2-week time frame. Yeah, I mean, these, I would like to see these possibly like reset. I mean, I think it could like stay up here for a while, especially when we look at the Dixie. We look at the strength of the dollar relative to other currencies. We could see that, you know, it's had a bit of a dip pretty much since latest June to now. It's gone down 3%, but all in all, it's gone up pretty much from the beginning of the year, more or less. It has gone up 3.57%. So I mean these things are kind of slow moving. But I do see here, in terms of the Dixie, I do see an uptrend starting to form. You know, from this low to that low, we're starting to see a bit of like a floor, if you will, right? So like a higher low being created. So we need to see what happens with the Dixie, the US dollar index, in the next couple of weeks. I mean, this is a 2-week chart. If we look at the weekly, and look, volatility is actually pretty damn low. And I mean, I don't know exactly, I don't really follow the dollar from a Dixie standpoint too often. But yeah, I mean, I guess it does have its periods where the BBWP could get very, very, very high. Here it looks like it's starting to create a few, yeah, so I mean, this looks like a bullish divergence here, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, depending how you measure it, or 1, 2, 3, 4 drives of bullish divergence, although it's not on lower lows. So yeah, so I mean, Let's take a look at the weekly, something more clear. Yeah, let's take a look at the monthly. Yeah, it's very low here, the BBWP. So I mean, maybe the BBWP wants to eventually reverse back to the medium. So maybe we could see a big bounce here in the Dixie. We could see the dollar rally off of something that could happen that could cause the dollar to rally. But right now, and it's just kind of like volatility is pretty much dead for the most part. And I mean, it hasn't really been quite volatile since October 2025. We saw some bigger moves in the Dixie. But yeah, I mean, I would say that overall, this drop in the price of or the strength of the dollar, coincides with a rally here in gold, right? So you're gonna see a weaker dollar. We're gonna see things like gold and other precious metals rally, and we're seeing the same thing here with silver as well. This is the monthly chart. When it comes to silver, I would like to see silver recover. I would like for it to get a wick above $89 per ounce, but ideally close above 80. If you get a closure above 80, then yeah, we could be talking about like the next target, which would be around here, like 93, 96 bucks, give or take. And I mean, if it were to take out that, then I'm like, okay, silver's gonna go back to previous all-time highs and probably create new highs. The same thing with gold, right? If gold could really take out this high, like I mentioned here, 40, let's just call it 49,000, 4,900 bucks per ounce, and yeah, I'm gonna be super bullish that it's likely going to get back to previous all-time highs, if not new all-time highs. And once we get there, we could talk about how high gold could go. But for now, I would still tread with caution with this, because I think it's a fake out, and my stance is very similar with Bitcoin. I mean, I think this is just an intra summer rally. I mean, so far I'm not convinced with this high. It needs to really take out this previous high of 82,814 bucks and start closing above that. Then I'm gonna get super bullish, especially if it could come back up here and close above 100,000 bucks. Then I'll get super bullish on Bitcoin. Until that happens, this is just another lower high in a series of several lower highs, as you can see the one printed here in January 12, and then this most recent one here on May 4th, and then the one that was printed this week, I guess. Yeah, it was I think it was yesterday or a couple of days ago. Anyways, Monday 24th, which was let's see, 81,255 bucks. I mean, I don't think Bitcoin's going to drop directly like this, but I think in the next week or two, we could see definitely, retest, particularly this 5 exponential moving average, and which is currently sitting at 71,793 bucks. Yeah, and possibly even get all the way back here, especially if it doesn't take out this high. I could see it retesting the 200 simple moving average here on the weekly, and possibly retesting these lows of 57,612 bucks, and possibly going lower. I mean, if you've been following my channel, you know my base case, the Bitcoin bottoming formula, and I think Bitcoin's going to get to somewhere around the 47,000 US dollars sometime later in this year. So I'm not fully convinced with this rally, although it's nice to have a rally. I own Bitcoin, so I'm happy when it rallies. It's not like I'm long-term bullish on Bitcoin. Just in the short term, you gotta be careful, and you gotta protect yourself. And if you're patient and you have a long-term investment hat on, you gotta be patient during a bear market, and you gotta kind of sometimes just kind of not fall for the FOMO, essentially, right? I don't like to chase rallies like this. I rather wait for a pullback before jumping in, and if I don't get that pullback, that's okay. That's okay, right? Because I'm looking to hold these things for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, right? So I'm not in a hurry to jump into positions, and I don't like chasing rallies, right? If we take a look, I think that's pretty much it for today's video. We could take a quick look at tether dominance. You could see that it closed below the 55 exponential moving average here on the weekly, although I mean it's right on the cusp right there. Like, I mean, from a closing basis, pretty much the same. I mean, it swept that low, but from a closing basis, is the same as these previous lows set here in May of earlier this year. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think it could potentially rally back up, especially if you get a drop in Bitcoin, right? So this has an inverse relationship with the price of Bitcoin, right? If this goes down, Bitcoin goes up. If Bitcoin goes down, this goes up. So, so yeah, I think it could potentially, we could have another rally, near the end of the year. I think it'll probably kind of not do too much. I mean, it might be similar to, let me see if there's an example in the last bear market. No. There isn't a good example that I could see here quickly that looks kind of similar to this. Maybe here, we got some wicks lower, and I mean you can make an argument that like maybe it's reversing here, but it didn't. It actually went back up, and it didn't quite create a new high, but it was almost the same high. From a closing basis, it did create some newer highs, and then it toppled over. And then essentially it reversed right after that point, and this was in kind of late 2022. So I would say that I would see another rally. I would say with a fair amount of confidence I would see another rally here in USDT dominance, as tether dominance, to finish off the year before reversing, and essentially Bitcoin starting to rally off of that. But I mean, we'll take it one day at a time. And that's all I have for today's video. Again, if you're liking the content, please subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care, and goodbye for now, and have a good night. Have a very, very good night. Bye-bye.